Okay, so I wanted to show you this as a creative activity. This is just one of the things that I might do in terms of just preparing myself for the day, or, like spending that dedicated time each day doing something. So these have been things I've been playing with. These are just matchboxes. And I went through a phase of wanting to do stuff that was miniature. And so I guess the phase still hasn't finished. But it's just like we have all these matchboxes. And I thought to myself, there must be something that I can do with them. And they make cute little drawers. And so I'd made a set of drawers and some mini books. And let me just get those. Right, so yeah, so I made these and I really liked it. I've just covered it in washi paper and I've used brads, and it just looks like a, like quirky little drawer. I'd used paper that had been used for other projects, and this was just a scrap left over, so I just covered it. And yeah, this was just washi paper I had, and then on the top I made a little box with a mini journal, a really mini journal. And this is just made out of, sometimes when you go to the hardware store that sells wallpaper, they'll give you, you can take off samples. And so in here was just samples. And that's just another thing that you can do. Go to your hardware store and get samples of papers, because that, if you're doing mixed media, that all adds to your supplies, and it keeps the cost down because some of the paper is really pretty. So, you can go from time to time, pay them a visit once a month. Also, don't stockpile, because then you'll have less space, uh, and lots of, I call myself a collector now anyway. So, right, so this is an activity that I decided I was going to do today. And I just wanted to move this set, because all I've done now, because I was going to do them individually, and all I've done is stuck them together. And I thought they may be able to contain some of my supplies, some of the smaller supplies that I wanted to keep separate. Not all the drawers are going to be functional, and that's okay. I thought these ones are going to be more functional because they haven't got the washi tape, which is kind of restricting some of the drawers. Anyway, so on the drawers themselves, again, it's just the boxes. I'm just going to paint the front and the back, because that's, all you're going to see. So I don't need to paint the sides and create even more kind of, restriction to the width there. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is part of a larger project, kind of a larger project, where I made these. So these are my statues that I made, and she's just the model. She's the model for this. I started making these out of the milk boxes, because we get through a lot of almond milk, and these were the boxes. These are the boxes basically, and so I transformed it. And the idea that I was trying to go for was that kind of, when we grew up, the kind of wallpaper you had on the walls was the really brightly coloured, highly patterned paper. And I wanted to give this kind of, a look inside somebody's front room, where everything is, this is not the place where the family normally sit. They normally sit in the, what would we call it, the dining room or the front room. So this was the front room, and then you normally sat in the dining room. But I wanted to create some miniature things for this particular setup, and these particular dolls were just, not dolls, but sculptures, were just the right size. So and I also made these mini journals, and what they were going to be about was that this was their, you got a look into their home, and each one came with a mini journal that had a story to tell. So I've made a couple of these so far, but I've not really kind of pushed it. And that's the back. And it's, yeah, just meant for, it's like a look into time, but it's also utilizing recycled material, because the boxes, once they're all stuck together, this is, I think I've used, yeah, this is just one box, and I've cut it and utilized all the parts in this particular framework. And let me show you the other one. Okay, so this is the other one. Let me take her out of the home to begin with, the front room. And in her home, you can look out the window. I made this little, it's a window box. So I've still got to make the plants for it. Or it could be like a storage box where she stored something. And she's got her little chair and cushion. This is vintage lace, and this is when I grew up. So this is over like 30 odd years old. My mother used these on the back of chairs. And then you've got the curtain there. You've got this piece of art in the corner. In most Caribbean homes at the time, they had a piece of art, whether it was a print. We had Vincent van Gogh's, the sunflowers, and we had a couple of others in print as a print. She also has her little journal, and her little, it's either a poof or it's another storage. And this is the young lady in question, and she matches her environment, and she's got a little note to self, an encouraging note to self. So if she was to look out of her window now, you can see her looking out the window, and she can see her flowers. Fits on there. Yeah, so I made these, and again, out of the recycled cardboard, and then just used supplies that I had. I brought like the fabric. It cost, I think it was like £4 for like a yard or something. It wasn't expensive, or 3 for 10, 3 pieces for 10. And they're really quite nice, and they have kind of gone far. And I was thinking I could even, I was even looking at, the hand painted materials that I had. I can utilize those as well. But I really do like, like them. And so this was then an activity which I guess is like a continuation, where I look at the recycled materials that I can use and how I can move them forward. So all I'm going to do today is paint this, and paint this, the back and the front. I've already done the sides, so I'm not going to add anything else unless it's, like a stamp or a stencil. But I quite like this is handmade paper with kind of sticks in it. And then that's there. So I kind of like what I've done so far. They're separate. They were going to be separate pieces. So this is something that you can do. Think about the recycled materials that you have around you, or the materials that you have around you that in your practice that you can use. I'm creating these particular things for myself, but you never know how ideas grow, and then what you can do with them, because they're quite easy to make out of cardboard, these like miniature structures. So I just wanted to share that with you, and me, myself and I will be sharing more kind of hints and tips and things that you can do creatively and ideas on the channel, so that you can go away and come back and do some stuff yourself, and it'll be really great to see what you do and what you think about the mini projects. More and more as artists, there are more and more artists utilizing recycled materials and using it in their art, and it's an accepted thing nowadays. There's a Spanish guy who uses he manipulates cardboard. So he uses cardboard. They go through a whole process, and then he creates beautiful furniture. If I can find the link, I will leave the link. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it there for now. That's your quick 11 minutes, 11 minutes of inspiration. So I hope that you find that useful. Recycled material, see what you can do with it, come up with some creative ideas, hints and tips, and I will definitely have something else for you next week. Okay, take care for now.